Yeah, right? Oh, we're live.
We're live.
We're
Alrighty.
live.
Game face on.
Bam!
Wait, that way. Nice, man. Here we go.
All right. Well, damn. We're here for the first live episode of DOXXED. Let me see if it's does this show up on Twitter? Let me see. I don't mind that people are going to see me trying to figure this out right now. Oh, it is. It is live on Twitter right now, too. I can see it.
All right.
All right. So who knows? People might be joining from YouTube. People might be joining from Twitter.
Instagram.
Instagram. Who knows? Who knows? Man, I'm so excited to finally have a chance to do this. We've been talking about doing this for, I don't know, weeks, months. I don't know.
Yeah, months, I'd say. Yeah, probably knowing how the time goes, man, I'd say months.
Yeah. Well, ever since I came up with the idea to do this, I think you were the first person I reached out to about joining in. So, yeah, I'm pumped to get a chance to talk with you and, learn a little bit more about you as a person. I do know quite a bit, but it's always a pleasure. I'm gonna dig deep today. I got some deep philosophical questions for you. I'm gonna throw your way.
You know me well.
Yeah. But yeah, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, where you live. So let's start there.
For sure, man. Well, yeah, Toby. I am 36. I just had my 36th birthday. So my daughter's is around the same time. So it all kind of, this part of the year all melds into one sort of memory. But I live in Sydney currently. Born in Adelaide, but when my parents were, or when I was 3, my parents moved up here to Sydney. Did all of my schooling here in Sydney, and then pretty much after that, that's sort of when the next phase of my life started, and managed to get a scholarship for rowing over to Seattle. So I was at the University of Washington there for 4 years, doing my rowing thing. Great experience, by the way, if anyone ever gets the chance to go to an American college for some reason or another. Had a really good time.
Yeah.
And met a lot of great people. A lot of my best friends are like from Marin County now, from Canada, from all over really. I guess the way the universities work in the States is that most people sort of travel interstate to do their schooling. So it's kind of this melting pot of all different sorts of people.
It's fun, right? Is that not the case in Australia?
Not really, no. We sort of just go like pretty much just in the same city where we did our schooling, really. Like you just find a local university and off you go.
Yeah.
Because I did do my masters of commerce back here in Sydney, and just didn't quite have the same. People just sort of travel in. You don't get that chance to really. You do meet some people, but it's not the same sort of vibe with. I guess everyone being in a similar boat of having being in a new city and that kind of thing. It brings people together. Whereas the whole Sydney uni sort of masters thing was a bit more travel in, do your thing, and then head back home. So yeah. So then after that, as I said, I came back to Sydney for a while, and then still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I went over to Hong Kong as a rowing coach. So I was there for, I don't know if you know that, Noah, but I was there.
Well, you just told me about this. I think the last time we were chatting, you told me that you lived in Hong Kong doing that. I was like, it was news to me.
So I was there for 4 years. Met my wife over there. So she's a Montessori school teacher from Canada, and she was doing her kind of practical learning after her studies in Hong Kong, and we met there. Ended up living together over there, and then came back to Sydney now about 8 years ago, and settled into a corporate role. And then a mate approached me maybe must be 4 years ago now with this idea for modernizing and revolutionizing the laundry industry. So we got into the self-serve laundry game and kind of came up with a concept for I guess a cool, modern, convenient, easy place to do your laundry. Kind of, more in the high sort of density areas with a lot of travelers, a lot of transient sort of people rolling through, have a need to do their laundry, don't have a place to do it, so they come to us.
That's so cool. So, and how far is the business from you guys, from where you live? It's pretty far, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I live up on the northern beaches of Sydney in Narrabeen, and our first one is pretty close to the city in an area like King's Cross, Potts Point, which is like a big sort of melting pot for all different people coming in and wanting to get into the city, or travelers coming in that are exploring Sydney. And then our other one is in Bondi, which is on the eastern suburbs. About I'd say 45 minutes to an hour, kind of each way, traveling.
And do you travel to each of the locations throughout the week, or you mainly just go into like you guys have like a headquarters and office?
We do, yeah. We built an office behind our second one. Before that, we were working from pretty much a closet in the other one. So,
oh, really?
So this was a big upgrade. I guess the things you do when you bootstrap a business. So we do go into both. We clean each one of them daily. We do also have some contract cleaners that come in on the days where we want to just get some deep work done, or on the weekends. So yes, we do go into both, but mostly based in the Bondi one where our office is.
Mm-hmm. So you said you got your master's in commerce. Is that, I'm assuming that's like an MBA equivalent here?
Sort of. Yeah, it's like so it's in the business sort of realm, but I guess more focused on different areas of commerce. So not quite an MBA, but similar sort of master's degree, and sort of touched into all different areas of business. My main part was in organizational analysis and sort of setting up companies and stuff like that. So
interesting. What was your corporate gig before you started this business?
I was working at an agency as a marketing manager. So it was a print business turned more sort of full suite of solutions for retail businesses to do, to execute their campaigns across the year for different marketing things. So business started as print, but then delved more into creative. So I was having a full design team that would design a lot of these campaigns for retailers, people like Oakley, people like Reebok, Nike, that sort of thing would come to our agency to deliver a lot of these campaigns across the year. And my role was sort of business to business marketing, sharing a lot of the work we were doing across the industry, getting new clients in, sort of driving that pipeline for the sales team with new leads coming in, but also kind of engaging our current audience to find out more about the different sort of services that we offered. So it was a definitely learned a lot on the go, which was really helpful for starting my own business, in a sense of mostly that marketing side, but also into some strategy and working.
I can imagine
working with the CEO, the CFO, the chief operating officer as well. So, really seeing those sort of high level strategy discussions and how that sort of informs everything that happens underneath.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's me pretty much.
And then how did you get into Web3 and NFTs? Is it you have the glow
this, like,
of the sun behind you? You look very very majestic,
right? There we go.
like you're coming down from the heavens.
Descending from the heavens.
But yeah, was it the traditional, like you got into crypto as an investment, and then that brought you into Web3 and NFTs? Was it that for you, or was it
pretty much that? Yeah, pretty much. I think that's quite a similar sort of pathway for most people. Mine was definitely along those lines. Yeah, for sure. I kind of I think I had a mate that had or been talking to someone about an investment opportunity with different crypto. This was probably 2021, sometime around there. And then we made a sort of small investment, and well, not small, but I guess comparatively small. But then sort of that, I guess, did that whole like watching graphs thing for a while until that sort of grew a bit old, but at the same time was sort of on Twitter, seeing what was going on in the Web3 space. Saw a few like early PFP projects coming through, fluff bunnies, that kind of thing, and then just sort of piqued my interest into what this art on the blockchain thing was, and sort of from there, pretty much.
Did you buy into any of the PFP projects when you first came in? Any of the big ones?
I did, yeah. No, none of the big ones. No, nothing like the Bored Apes or the CryptoPunks or anything like that. Just probably some of these wannabe sort of cash grab type things. I've since managed to mostly roll out of, which has been a good thing. But I guess I've sort of shifted away pretty much completely from the coins, just to do something that I felt I had an interest and passion for, and wasn't always looking at my phone or screen or stressing about. That was in art, really.
Now, so obviously I want to get into your art collecting, but while we're on the topic of crypto, so at this stage, while you're mainly collecting fine art and NFTs, do you still pay attention? I mean, obviously pay attention to the price of Ethereum, but are you watching it the way that you used to? And like, when it dips, are you buying? And does it?
Not at all.
No. Actually, inflate the Ethereum to like Australian dollars when you're buying? Like, how does that play into your decision making?
Yeah, like definitely, it was unhealthy the way before that I was like, I think everyone gets it. I'm like watching it constantly. What's it doing? Oh, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? It's just like this constant wave of emotion and stress. And I was just at a point in my life with the business, with my family, where that wasn't really working for me or working for the people around me. So no, I'm not. I don't really look apart from when I see something I want and I want to move some fiat over into Ethereum, then it's pretty much just hey, here's what it's at. Here's how much Aussie dollars I need, and off we go.
Yeah.
Apart from that, pretty oblivious to everything going on there, because there's only so much worrying that one can do, and
it's kind of liberating, huh? To not
definitely,
to not worry about it anymore, like you used to.
I think it's interesting that we let ourselves get to this point of being dictated and controlled by a piece of technology.
I know,
but such is the world. But it's definitely given me more time to think, more time to do the things that I love.
Okay. So as far as your art collecting goes, were you an art, like a traditional or physical art collector prior to entering this space?
I had a few pieces. It wasn't anything big. Just some local sort of photography, a few local artists in Australia. My mum and dad had a few kind of pieces growing up, so I've been around art, and I'd gone to school with a few artists who had since become full-time artists and had some quite successful galleries and things like that. But as far as being considering myself an art collector, not at all. And that's actually what I loved about Web3 and the opportunity to actually see and find artists all over the world, which, I never had before, pretty much. The only chance I got to see international art was when I went to galleries overseas or kind of the local markets and seeing what people are doing there. But it was never really, never really had that opportunity to buy some serious pieces from people locally, but also internationally.
Yeah. So when we first started talking, I don't know, has it been a year? Probably been close to a year that you and I first connected. And so I've gotten to see your sort of like trajectory as a fine art collector. And like, really, I mean, I know you're a very humble guy, so I don't know that you would take this, but you're sort of a legend as a collector already. And and I think that you have a very unique eye for art in that, obviously you've collected Poison and Ezekiel and Marlon and like, the biggest names in NFT art in the Web3 space. But you were buying their art sort of before they got to this like peak, so like you have a way of identifying artists who are going to be big and getting in early. And I know that you're not doing it necessarily as like an investment because they're going to blow up and you can get a 10x return. But like, what are you looking for in an artist? When you're thinking about collecting, or when you're scrolling through Twitter and you see like this whole sea of artists. I mean, there's just thousands and thousands of pieces of artwork that are out there and available. So how do you find those gems? Like, what are you looking for as a collector?
I'd say it's got to be, for me, like, there's just this instant sort of attraction to a piece. I like quite intricate, sort of detailed, colorful, moving sort of pieces. So yeah, I guess without thinking about it, maybe a lot of it is subconscious. Like, I probably just naturally stop on the art that I already sort of like. And then what else do I look for? I'll look for, does that piece really come from somewhere that I can tell that they've put a lot of time and thought and effort? Not to say that people that aren't doing that and maybe have a quick expression aren't worthy of, time and attention. But I think, I sort of, given my buying patterns early on, I knew I needed to sort of refine something if I was going to really get joy and love and maybe a return in the future. So I had to become a bit more strict with what and who I was buying from, and I started to look for I guess more sort of fine art pieces, meaning something that came from maybe a more traditional sort of sense of art or a traditional style, or and then has now found a way to the blockchain and Web3. What else? I think marketing of, not marketing in the sense of like bombarding me with messages, but just someone that markets themselves really well, that's genuine. Not that you can ever really tell, but I think over time you get to see someone that's, showing up every day, really quite, great work ethic, consistent. I'd say And also, yeah, I love to, probably as you saw, Noah, like quite early on, even when I'm first looking into someone's, I like to reach out to someone personally and get to know a little more about them and what their story is, who they are, what their passions are, what their interests are, sort of a vision for their art. And then that helps me sort of get to know them and build a bit more of a one-to-one relationship, which is probably one of the main things I like about the space, is that not only the amazing and beautiful art that I'm able to collect and one day hang in my home or in a virtual gallery somewhere, but also these sort of real one-to-one connections that have come out of it too.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely the greatest gift I think that we've received with Twitter and Web3, is being able to, really develop genuine, authentic relationships with people like you and I. And I've actually thought about bringing my family to Australia on a trip and like hanging out with you. And it's all a result of us just chatting about art and, you collecting my work, but also like us talking about other people's art and, talking about life. And it's all through this thing that we're all part of. Yeah.
Kind of this thing that bonds us and brings us together. And yeah, I think when you're in this space, you kind of need people around you that are seeing different but also similar things. And when it's tough, or when it's people that don't have a understanding of crypto or Web3, it's hard to kind of empathize or sympathize with. And yeah, just sharing new ideas is, I don't know, my brain seems to always be stimulated by kind of just new things, interesting things, mostly technology sort of, and then where the world's going. And so yeah, this has been an amazing, I guess, tool and vehicle and chance for me to meet a lot of really smart, bright, friendly, passionate people that are doing similar sorts of things to what I'm doing.
Yeah. And what do you think is sort of the next, maybe the next phase of this Web3 community that we're a part of, or this movement? Obviously, it has to grow, it has to change and be dynamic in order for it to continue to thrive and for new people to enter. And so, do you have a thought on like what is coming or what needs to happen from your perspective?
I think we'll start to see a lot of these digital sort of expressions or pieces of people live out in the real world a little bit more. So it won't be, just through Twitter or through your MetaMask and OpenSea that you'll kind of be able to experience these parts of culture. We'll start to see it kind of, infiltrate the real world and our lives a little bit more, whether that be through brands using it for marketing and culture and building a tribe, or whether that is live galleries or people just getting together to share on different things. I think it'll start to we'll start to see more of it kind of coming together in communities and tribes and in our everyday lives in terms of off the screen probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's hard to really identify what needs to change in a sense. I'd say maybe being on Twitter for both artists and collectors all the time is again not the healthiest.
Yeah, it's not. It's sort of like how we were with crypto in the start.
Yeah,
it's like totally. Your emotions and behaviors and everything are tied to this interaction between you and a device all day long. So
So I'd say, more like artists will find their community, their group, and then they'll bring them somewhere else, off Twitter or wherever it is, I guess similar to the way that a Discord group might work. And then they're sharing, behind the scenes stuff. They're then giving you early kind of access to get some pieces. So it becomes more of this, I guess similar to how a traditional artist would act in terms of having a gallery space. And you come in and you'd see their new pieces, and then there'd be this one-to-one thing, and then you'd either buy the piece or not buy the piece, and then it would hang in your home. Similar, we'll have probably a way that isn't quite so, being controlled by an algorithm that we can reach our audience. And I know a lot of that, the reason to be on Twitter is to build that audience up and get more people to see and know you. But I'd say hopefully there's some other kind of less grindy ways to get that done. Whether that be, it's hard because what we love about blockchain is that it is decentralized, but that also means that, there isn't anyone really doing all of the legwork to bring everything together and present it in a way kind of curated and easy for someone to understand. So it's brought this whole new role to, if you are going to be kind of your own boss in the sense of what you're doing, you do have to have experience in marketing, you do have to know business, you do have to be able to build an audience, to still have time to make your art. So you have to be great at managing your time. Let's be real, like this is going to be tough for a lot of really good artists as well to be able to put their art out into the world and tick all of these boxes that mean that they build an audience and they're seen and they go to these events and they're able to to make good business decisions. So that's, I think that's still a gateway in the sense of, not a gateway, but like a gate in the sense of this, the artist is also the business owner is, going to be difficult. So there's probably some that, what's an easy way to say it? Maybe there's going to be some artists that don't have that business experience that are able to go to someone that's a curator to give them a fair chance to be seen and to be heard and to look after those matters and get their art out there. And then there's going to be some that don't mind being fully decentralized and having control of everything.
Yeah, no, totally. Have you had the opportunity to attend any of the big NFT shows like NFT NYC or like BTC Miami, any of those sort of things?
No,
not yet. Do you have any desire to?
Yeah, like, I think probably more of the art type ones. So if I knew that someone like Marlon, who's based in Melbourne, was going to go to something in Melbourne or Sydney, I think it would be a good chance to go and meet the artists behind some of the pieces that I have. Or
you guys haven't met yet?
Not yet. No, we were potentially going to meet, just because it's like probably a 7-8 hour drive, so it's a little bit of travel involved. Well, we were going to meet when I was down at the Snow a few months ago, but it just didn't work out as far as the timing for Marlon and his family. But it will happen, I'd say. Probably next year.
I feel like it's destiny for the two of you to meet. I mean, the connection that you guys have, like artist and collector, and then finding out that you're both in Australia.
Yeah,
you were a fan of his work before you knew that he was even Australian, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I'd seen like his stuff, well before I knew he was based in Melbourne, and the way that, I love that, just how hard he works for his collectors, what a great, genuine kind of insightful person that he is, and also the way that people and artists respond to his work and what he's putting out there as far as his sort of philosophy and messaging and good into the world. How about you? Have you met with any of your collectors?
I have not. There's NFT LA, which goes on pretty frequently. It's not like an annual thing, so they do things quite a bit, and I've had opportunities to meet a lot of people, like Nomad Boulevard. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yeah,
project,
man.
but
Yeah.
they had like a gallery opening, and they've done some IRL events. My problem is with the kids, which it's really really difficult. I mean, even if it's just like driving 3 hours to LA and then driving back that night, it's so much, like, you gotta move. There's so many moving parts, with dinner and bedtime routine and all that stuff. So unfortunately, it has not worked out. But last year, after NFT NYC, I was telling my wife, and I'm like, showing her picture. She's like, "Why didn't you go?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I guess I just assumed that it'd be too difficult for us to figure it out. Didn't go, but I definitely, it's a goal that I have for this next year to, get out there and do some in-person stuff, because it's really important to be able to connect to people one-to-one. And obviously this is like a step up from just us chatting on Twitter and WhatsApp, but there's no replacement for, like being in person, having a conversation with somebody in your vicinity, so I definitely want to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you remember the first piece of NFT art that you bought? And is that person still around?
Is that like more not non-PFP stuff, or
non PFP, like
stuff?
Fine art.
PFP. I think it may have been potentially either Wes Henry or I think it might have been Wes. Was probably one of the first pieces of serious NFT.
That's a good first buy.
He's definitely still around, and recently on Super Rare, and I know he's got a great standing with a lot of the builders and artists in the space. And I really liked, quite early on, I was on a lot of these sort of Discords and Twitters and different things, but I liked how he kind of had a method, and he was happy to share that with other people as far as what was working for him, and how open he was about, seeing the success of other artists in the space, and just willing to impart his knowledge and kind of time to really give a boost to others around him, which was great to see. So that was like a nice sort of I guess when I make my decisions, it's not just like a few things. I kind of like to get the complete picture about who they are as a person, and just like, I guess values is important in terms of the values that someone has. Not that you cannot, there's only so much you can learn about someone.
Yeah, it's nuanced. I mean, you pick it up from conversations and
stuff. All that sort of stuff. So I'd say I think it was Wes. So shout out to Wes, still going strong. I believe just sold his second or first super rare piece.
Second super rare. Yeah,
beautiful piece. Just like the stuff he does. It's just very unique, very polished, extremely well executed, and like just a piece of art that you would be happy getting printed out big and hanging up somewhere prominently in your home.
Yeah, I was.
How about you? What was your first? I mean,
my first NFT was over a year ago. I bought Ash Seville's. I think it was her Genesis piece called Mocking Mary. First piece I ever bought. So Chris was my first collector, right?
Yeah.
Raw Gallery.
Raw Gallery,
And he introduced me to a bunch of his people, his like little circle. They started collecting my work, but I also got introduced to the artists that were part of Raw Gallery. So that was how I got exposed to Ash and her work, and got a chance to get to know her, sort of like, you know, your journey with the art that you've collected. I think I sort of take all of those things into account too, you know, like how obviously, you know, we've talked offline about art that we've collected, and then you sort of get to know the person and it sort of tarnishes the art if they're not a great person, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it's like, it's not, it's more their actions. Like, it's not,
Yeah,
they're not, they're like, it's,
yeah, and obviously I'm not going to name names, but you know what I mean. It's, I think the person behind the art really does give life to it, and it can be, you know, really amazing. You know, you look at a piece of art and you can love it, then you get to know the person and really like feel something really deep and connect with the art even more. So yeah, I mean, that was, I loved the piece, and then I got to know Ash, and she's just a really amazing human being and supporter, and now I call her a friend, and so yeah, I was really excited for that to be my first ever NFT purchase. So yeah.
So that's a special sort of, full circle, you know. Someone collected your work, then introduced you to some other artists that were, you know, at a similar point, and you fell in love.
And now Ash has collected my work, so it really is full circle. So so you're obviously a family man. I don't know how much you want to share about your personal life, but how do you balance, you know, if you're comfortable sharing your personal life and like balancing that with the amount of time that you're investing into Twitter and Web3? And I sort of conflate the two, Twitter and Web3, because it's sort of like there's the blockchain. It's like the back end, and then the front end of the blockchain is Twitter, right?
Yeah, that's a good way. I haven't thought of it like that, but definitely 95% of time in the front end, and 5% of time looking at everything of the other 5%. But I'd say just good habits, good time management. You know, really, I think you need to take the time to work out a strategy for yourself as far as what am I, like, if I'm going to be putting time into something, what am I actually hoping to get out of that, and then how much time am I willing each week to give to that, and then just measuring and making adjustments. So I'd say it's just good time management, understanding or having a clear sort of vision and strategy on what you're trying to do, and then having the diligence to stick with it. And so that's sort of, I guess it's mostly then using that time that I do have quite wisely. So just creating little plans about what I want to get done. You know, I think for me as a non-artist and just a collector, it's, you know, obviously there's a little bit less involved as far as you can kind of dip in and out when you want to, but if you do want to, you know, make sure you're sort of staying on top of new pieces coming out, you know, the latest trends, think through ideas, you know, longer term as far as galleries or working one-on-one with artists to help, you know, or not help them, but support them in a way that, you know, that I guess gives you a little bit more sort of purpose in this world, then that's sort of where most of my time is going these days.
Okay.
But yeah, I do. That's I do have 2 kids. One of them's my son's 19 months, so gonna have his second birthday in a few months, and my daughter just turned 5 on Wednesday. So 2 days ago, we went to the zoo, had an amazing
happy
day.
birthday to her. That's exciting.
No, it was. Yeah, I think by 5 they're well aware of who they are and the significance of their birthday. And they love. What I like most is them telling everybody about it. Like, it's my birthday. Here's the necklace.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna have a birthday today. Then I've got another birthday at my school tomorrow, and then I'm having a gymnastics party on Saturday. So seeing how much they love it is always nice positive thing. And then 2 kids. That's probably it. We got a girl and then a boy. So let's say I think that's no number 3 on the way. As much as my wife,
number 3, you said? There's no plans for
number 3? No plans. 2 is great.
Yeah, so. 2 is perfect. When you have 3, you're outnumbered at that point by the kids. So
well, we're already outnumbered as far as mental capacity. So
yeah, right, exactly.
Their brains are already so much more sharp and switched on than ours. So we're through that.
And for like 24 hours straight, they don't need a break at all. So
never.
Earlier you mentioned a virtual gallery when we were talking. What I know we've had a few conversations about a project that you're working on. Are you able to share any information about that?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to go into more detail. That gallery sort of spawned from just an idea I had about, I guess, we have all of these pieces that we buy and we love and either maybe get printed out and put up somewhere in the office or at home. But then they're just sitting on, somewhere that's a bit boring in the sense of like OpenSea. You're just on your little laptop, you're sort of scrolling through. There's no real description of the artist or who they are or, why you bought the piece, or it's just sort of this empty, vast, cavernous thing of pictures everywhere. So it's as a sort of user experience, it's more about art appreciation than purely flipping something. It's kind of, I didn't feel like it was the nicest way to experience my art, let alone other people's things that they've collected. So I actually reached out to Unchained Ninja, and who some of you would know, maybe not, but he's a big collector, and sort of, I think I just asked him about on cyber galleries, and because I'd seen some things that he was doing. This was before he was to launch his recent Art Unchained, which helped kind of collectors and artists create this one-on-one or edition gallery. Mm-hmm. My vision for this, for the reason I was doing it, was just to create an amazing gallery space, really, that not just displayed the art nicely in a kind of niche one-to-one virtual environment, but also could bring in a little bit more of the personality and the experience of art. Meaning, maybe there's a bio on the artist, there might be a video on the wall of them doing a time lapse of their art, so you get to see like what is their craft, what sort of time goes into this, what sort of skill. We don't get to see all of this craftsmanship that let's say with someone making shoes or doing, there's this physical like sort of thing that's on display. We don't, or someone's painting a live kind of thing. There's like this tangible thing, whereas we don't, so much of what artists are doing in Web3 is kind of behind their own computer, and then it's just cast out there. So this was more, I guess, to was as a personal thing to see my art in like a cool space, but then I also wanted a bit more purpose behind what I was doing in the space, and thought by partnering with some of these artists to create a more of a custom kind of story filled and beautiful environment would be able to bring I guess a bit more attention and a little bit more kind of passion and excitement to their art.
And where are you at in the process of developing that? Is it close to done, or are you still working?
Still a little bit of ways away. I kind of had the initial brief, and then we went back and forth a little bit. The Art Unchained team have been great. I've just had a few business, like in like real life stuff, kind of come up, not in a bad way, but just we're looking at third location at the moment, and so it's been a bit of an intense negotiation, and then a whole dealing with solicitors and lawyers about the leases, and so my attention was pulled away a little bit, but I'd say maybe 3 to 4 weeks away.
Okay.
So not
nice.
Not too far away, but also not right around the corner. So I need to get the logo kind of finished off. They came back with the first round of designs. So when you if you ever go in to do like this gallery with Art Unchained, they walk you through the whole process. They give you a whole bunch of different services that you can use, whether that be curation of the art pieces, where they sit, who you decide to select on the frames, through to sort of branding and logo stuff, helping you, I guess, build a little bit of a brand for this gallery. And then they also have direct contact with the On-Cyber team as far as the custom development of these galleries. So I guess I'm touching into all three, and we still need to select the pieces that are the final pieces, but I have a pretty clear idea, and then I also need to finalize the bits with the artists as far as their bio, some of their personalized graphics or things they want to include, and how we deliver that in the space.
That's exciting. I didn't know you were that close to finishing it.
No, they're really quick there. It would have been much sooner had I been devoting the time and attention needed to give them things back quicker. They can turn things around, at a really high quality, very fast. Ninja is an amazing human. He's an amazing worker, great work ethic, very organized. So that helps kind of keep things on track. And then you just need to, I need to deliver on my end with the actual thinking and execution.
Are you planning on like an event or something to launch it, or what are you?
Yeah, I think, what I see with a lot of these galleries is there's like an initial event, people come in, and then it sort of like loses a bit of its steam. So I'm going to try and think of some ways that I want this to be somewhere where people can go when they, just want to experience art in like a different sort of environment. It's, calming, soothing, insightful. Can learn about process, can learn about the artist, sort of, their story. As you were sort of saying, had the chance to see a lot of these artists before they kind of, kept rising up into, super rare and other things. So to be able to show a little bit of that story too, that, everyone knew, artists coming in, collectors coming in, we all kind of got to start somewhere. So it's quite overwhelming, and do I give up? Do I just I've tried now, this is not working? But these people that have persevered and just found their little thing. It doesn't all have to be the same way. You don't need tens of thousands of people to build an audience. You don't need to be on Twitter doing, this and that all the time. I think it's kind of, hopefully this sheds a little bit of light into different people's sort of journey and what they're doing now and what their vision is for the future.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I've seen you've shown me some screenshots of what it's going to look like, and people are going to love it. It's exciting. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. So there'll be an initial event, and then I'd say I'm just going to think of some ways that make it more like let's get some artists or collectors together and come in and maybe just like this, Noah's speaking about his process, and hey, we're surrounded by this art, but we're kind of wearing VR headsets, or there's a presentation on a screen, or I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I think that it could be quite a nice kind of gallery space and activating it in ways that are something for people to learn or to see or to listen to music, or just think of it as a virtual meeting place with great good stories.
Yeah, I mean, it follows in line with sort of the thought process behind doing this series that I'm doing. In that I think it's really important, like you said earlier, we all got really excited about this being decentralized, and people really thrive. Some people really thrive on the anonymity and just letting their art speak for itself. But I feel like over time it's sort of developed into, okay, but who really is the person behind the art? Let me get to know you more. And I think that there's a lot of value in getting the whole story. Obviously, some people aren't comfortable, sharing or oversharing or whatever the case is, and that's fine. But I think that, if there's a platform for the people who do want to share more about themselves and their process and what drives them, I'm always really interested in hearing from people who their inspirations were growing up, or as they started getting into art at a young age, who were the artists that they idolized. And it's really interesting because you'll find people that are doing abstract expressionism, and they really loved Dali, or something. And it's interesting. But you can sort of see hints of those things in their art too, and it's oh wow, you've brought in all these different elements from these different inspirations. And so I just think it's really fascinating. Everybody's got such a unique story, and so it's cool that you're doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. And I know what's cool too is the artists are kind of excited about being involved and sort of having this platform as well to tell a little bit more about who they are and their story. So it's been good.
Who's an artist that you're really excited about, that you've had your eye on? And it doesn't have to be one artist. It could be a couple or three or whatever.
Mostly there's a girl up in Brisbane named Tiffatron. So she is another Aussie artist. And I think for me, finding those, I don't know, we're very patriotic here and kind of like to get behind our own, Australia being sort of a faraway land, colonial, all that sort of thing. So we definitely like to stick together, and that mateship is a big part of our lives and culture growing up. So she's based in Queensland. Really love her. Really drawn to her sort of style and the way that she interacts with the community. Her art is stunning. It's those pieces that I would be thrilled to blow up big and hang somewhere prominently in my home. And I see it kind of it's got a wide sort of appeal as far as, you know, male, female, kids. It's very like kind of attractive to a lot of different audiences. So it would be perfect for like a family home.
I discovered her through you sharing her work.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Yeah. So I think I've been sharing quite a bit. I guess that's how Twitter works. You sort of see one thing and then posting about it. But no, she's also a wonderful, sweet, caring, thoughtful, dedicated person. Just from what I've seen, as far as the way she's interacted with me and her collectors and people that aren't collectors, the kind of thought process she puts into making sure her drops are, you know, fair and everybody gets a chance. And there's a lot of time and thinking and compassion, and as I'm sure you're aware, in all of these decisions that go into kind of what you're doing. So I think seeing that and the way that she does it and has time for all of these things and the way that she executes it, it just gets me like passionate to support her even more on her journey.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I was excited to find her work through the stuff that you were sharing on Twitter. It's super unique, and like I know just the selection of colors that she uses and the way that she's able to create this harmony using so many different colors. It's incredible. She's got a very unique style and really beautiful work. So I'm glad that you
patterns, I mean, it's all done. I'm not sure if you've seen her kind of process, but it's all done on the iPad or on the screen, and like meticulously kind of drawn and then rubbed out. And so the patterns, the way that it all flows, the storytelling, all that blend of sort of palettes. And probably also see like a lot of Australian color palettes, like natives and that sort of thing flowing through. So it might even be subconscious feeling based on you know, seeing similar sorts of flora and fauna and animals and that type of thing. So, and also the multicultural aspect of Australia and her art, you know, coming through. So it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, it is.
How about you? Who is some artists that you're excited about at the moment?
I'm really keen right now on Jonas. You know Jonas, Krakow Dream.
Yeah, I've got maybe 4 of his works. So, and like he's just got this incredible style. It's very. I know that he was speaking with him. I know that he went to art school and has this sort of very traditional art sense. But then he really, not invented, but I don't know. I hadn't seen anyone that like deconstructs the works the way that he does. He kind of builds it up and then like.
It's very unique, and it's been cool too to see his style develop even just in this short amount of time. You know, with the different like sort of like. Fine art backgrounds that he's doing now, like you know, with landscapes and stuff. It's just I love his work. God, there are so many. There's so many people that I would name right now. Rizal.
Too many.
I mean, I just can't. We don't have that much time, I don't think. So, how much time do you have?
Maybe 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to ask you.
That's enough. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a deep question. My daughter got this like journal for her birthday. One of her friends bought her, and it's got these questions that they're supposed to be like prompts, you know, so that you can write in your journal. Yeah. And one of the questions that was in there that I'm like, I gotta ask Toby this question when we meet is, would you rather change the past or change the future? Like have the ability to change the past or have the ability to control the future?
I think it would be. Oh, so then that changes the question as far as the ability to change the past.
Yeah, sorry. Control the future.
I'd say it would be. I'd say it would be. I'm going to go with control the future. Yeah, just because, I mean, as we see in all of these movies, when people go back and change the past, good things don't always happen. Whereas
the butterfly effect.
We just got to know that, like I don't know, it's so ingrained in me, just my mental kind of health thinking, and that we just like things that have happened, and we just learn what we can. We find resolve. We keep our chin up. We, push through, grind, true grit, resilience, and then we, change. Do more of or change what we have to do in the future. So I'd say it's control the future, and we see this path, and we work towards it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Same for me. I think there are things that have happened, decisions that I've made where I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that, or it's made life more difficult, because of decisions that I've made. Put myself in situations that have created challenges for me that I'm, had to deal with for years even. But I wouldn't change any of it, because I don't know if this life that I have right now, which is like a dream life for me with a wife and 2 daughters, and being able to be an artist and do what I want with my life, it's like, who knows which one of those things I wouldn't have right now if I changed any of that stuff. It makes you who you are, and
it does.
The challenging things make you more resilient, like you said. I feel like that grit, just
having that
makes you better.
Having that constant thing in your back of your mind that this is like what we're feeling is not unique to us. Like everybody has all of these things going on daily, every hour, like uncertainty, pain, disappointment, all of these things. They're not like, I know that we experience them in different ways and they're personal to us, but they're not unique in the sense of, we're the only ones going through these, and the people that because we tend to share a lot of our positive successes, they would think, oh, well, then they're just, that's all that's happening for them. Whereas we all know that, I guess the experiences.
Oh, we lost your volume there. Did we lose your AirPods?
There we go.
My bad. So now you get to hear me in a lag and sound like a robot. No,
it's better.
There we go.
unless you want to talk in a robot voice.
Toby,
got the call. There was some audio issues, as there always is.
Yeah.
Noah was sounding like a robot, and then when I plugged my headphones in, it was good. But now we're good. So answer to that question as you, I guess similar in that, control the future and know that we're going to have these constant up and downs.
The human experience. I think that's what you were sort of alluding to.
Let that lead us into inaction or getting stuck. Just like the sooner we can free ourselves up to be thinking about a way forward is going to be in our benefit.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I guess in the last minute that we have together, do you want to share any parting wisdom for artists or collectors, people that are just entering the Web3 space, or maybe just haven't had as much experience in this space? Anything that you would leave them with?
Kind of similar to the last philosophical question we just asked, but it's knowing that no one has the answers. That there's gonna be no easy sort of path unless you get really lucky, and then even then you might get lucky once, but it's not gonna continue on. So it'd be just developing great resilience, having a kind of thirst and desire for something better, and it would be have a strategy, have a bit of a plan of what you want to accomplish, rather than just sort of living through this sort of thing. And I mean, unless that's not your end goal, but if you do have sort of a higher purpose or an end goal that you want to get to, it's really sit down and take the time to write that out and formulate this sort of grander plan, and keep going at it. It's not going to happen in a day. It won't happen in a week. It might not happen in 5 years, but even then, like, as long as it's something that's you're passionate about, that's where you want to be and where you want to move to, then it's worth the effort.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
We're all in a similar boat. We all come in with not knowing everything. There's a lot to learn. You're going to get knocked down a lot of times. Ride some highs and then have some intense lows. There'll be all of these, kind of things and stories and that we hear across our lives. Movies made about them, all of that. But I think that's just because that's part of life. So we tend to create these stories in life, and they become cliche. But I guess also that's there's a lot of power in knowing these stories, and then being able to use parts of these to sort of determine how we go forward.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Finally.
And braving the first live broadcast of DOXXED.
I was like, well, there probably wasn't going to be too much editing you were going to be able to do anyway. So it's
no, this was fun. It was fun. I like that in the corner it says that there are 0 people watching, because it sort of, I was like, oh, nobody's watching,
Oh, I didn't even know. I think you only
it shows, but there are people watching because there's people commenting and stuff. So.
Well, thank you.
All right, man. Thanks, Toby. I appreciate you. Let us know when your gallery is live, and
yes,
I'll be sure to share that out as well.
Share that.
So, yeah.
Really appreciate you having me on the show and what you're doing for the entire space, as far as using your time where that could be with family and other things to, I guess, promote the space and show that there is good things happening, and very thankful for that. So
yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I love this. It's really nice to get to know people even better. So, especially people like you. All right. Thanks, Toby. Have a good one. Appreciate you. All right.